What's good, YouTube? Dmgaming here, guys. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. Today, I want to discuss the endgame. I want to revisit the endgame discussion for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot because last time we talked about it, we didn't have as many details about the game as we do now. We didn't know as far as like DLC and stuff like that. So now that we have that information, we're going to revisit that. But guys, don't forget about the giveaway. That link is in the description box below. For those of you who may be new to it, we're doing a giveaway for the deluxe edition of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. It's a 3-month giveaway. We're doing one for November, December, and for January. That one will fall before the game actually releases. Also, if you're looking for a great gaming chair, check out eWin's lineup of gaming chairs. I'm sitting in one. It's super comfortable. We did a review on it, and the chairs are awesome. Don't forget to use promo code Dmgaming for that 25% off discount, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Follow us on all these social media platforms. So, Endgame. Last time we talked about Endgame, we didn't, I don't even think it was confirmed at the point that the Buu saga would be in the game. I mean, we knew it. We pretty much knew it would, but it wasn't officially confirmed last time we talked about it. And we definitely didn't know if they had anything even remotely planned for DLC. Now we know that they do. So now I have to revisit this and say, what is going to be the end game? Is there even going to be an end game? Most of the time in RPGs, there are what we consider end games. For those of you who may not know what an end game is, basically it's what keeps you playing until DLC comes out, and then it's the longevity of the game. So take Destiny 2, for example. You have your campaign, but then you also have end game, in which in the end game is like where you're doing your raids. That's end game activities and things like that. So what could they do for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot? You know, the longevity of the game is there. They have a good foundation. The main thing that does that for this game is the fact that they have original content. Original content is very important because you can basically create and extend storylines based off of that alone. So, people are saying, and even myself, that, maybe DLC would be Dragon Ball Super based or something to that effect. They could literally just stick with Dragon Ball Z and just create these original arcs and stories, to extend the game. Will they go that route? I doubt it. I'm pretty sure they'll add Super into the game. But that's just a statement to make. Now, Goku, then we have to look at the anime. We have to look at the anime and the manga and say, okay, what makes sense for an end game for a Dragon Ball Z game? And a lot of people are saying, well, movie characters, but no, movie characters are not in the game. Now, breaking down that other video that I did pin that in a comment where in the interview they literally said, no, there is no movie characters in the game, unfortunately. But the other interview kind of left it open to speculation. But it turns out what it is that, when we see like Goku with the Dragon Fist, that is a move that was done in the movies. So that is what they were referring to in that first video that we listened to, or the one that I covered in the actual video discussing movie characters and, how they could implement them through side quests, stuff like that. It's not that. It's just that there's things in the game that are from the movies. And like I told you, Cyber Connect 2's done that. They've put clothing in games from movies, from the Naruto series, and didn't put the movie characters in the game. I mean, Xenoverse even does that sometimes, so no movie characters. So that's not going to be in-game content. One thing that I question is, what's the limit to how strong you can get? Because with Goku and them, when they didn't have an enemy to fight, what were they doing? They were training. That's all they were doing. They would literally just train. And then, with the movies would be fillers and stuff like that, but they train. So training has to be an intricate part. I think that leveling up, you see Goku at level 75 fighting Kid Buu. You see them at a high level, Vegeta at level 75, whatever. But guys, I don't think it's going to be as easy as we think it's going to be to level up. First of all, I don't think it's going to be easy to level up. And just like any RPG, your first couple of levels is going to be quick and easy. But also, I think that, of course, the higher you go, the more experience it takes to level up. So when you see somebody that's level 75 and that's like the in-game boss, I mean, come on, like that kind of tells you how strong each level actually is. So you reach level 100, imagine how powerful that is. You know what I'm saying? But the way that they advertise getting stronger in the game, they advertise it like there's literally no limit to it. And perhaps there isn't because, you know, if you're eating and stuff, then you're constantly boosting your stats. And if that's the case, and training works the same way, that they literally just don't put a limit on how strong you can get, that's going to be pretty dope. That's going to be pretty dope. And it's going to be worth the grind to see just how strong you can get. Now, once they release new content, you know, Super, you think about Super, for example, if they was to release Dragon Ball Super via DLC for this game, the power scaling was off the charts. I mean, from Dragon Ball Z, from fighting Majin Buu to where they were at in the Tournament of Power is astronomically higher. And so it makes sense that you would be able to achieve strengths of that height, you know? So that's an option. You know, it's not, and the thing about this game is it's single player. If it was a multiplayer game, in-game would be very simple. You could just do some player versus player tournaments and stuff like that. You can do some raids like they do with Xenoverse. But the fact that the game is single player, I mean, there could possibly not even be an in-game. But the reason I say in-game is because with most RPGs, there is what we call in-game content, something that keeps you playing the game after you've beaten the main campaign. And, you know, it could be as simple as procedurally generated subquests. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. You know, being able, you know, after you beat the game, certain subquests become available and you're able to free roam in the world, you know, with basically any character, as opposed to only being able to play with certain characters when they're available in the series at that point in the story. Now, another thing that I thought about was that each area has a specific level. Like in RPGs, for example, if I have like say 3 different locations on the map, each location, like one location may say the enemies in this area are level 0 to 5. The second one is say the enemies in the level are level 6 to 10. And then the third level say enemies in this level are level 11 to 15. This game could very well be like that. You know, that's something I thought of as far as helping to level up. And then maybe there's some levels or stages in this game that aren't available until, you know, you get to the end of the game. And then there's special subquests and things like that in there. There's no story content, but there's subquests and things to do there that aren't accessible until you reach in-game level. Now, you know, that's another thing I have to say is that in-game doesn't mean that, I mean, it does. It's normally like stuff that you play after the game is complete. Like take Destiny 2, for example. You don't have to beat the campaign necessarily to be able to access what they consider in-game content. What they consider in-game content is something that you do at the max light level. So, for example, the dungeons. Yeah, you have to beat the campaign story. You know, same thing pretty much for the raids. You have to access that content. But, you know, people can do certain stuff like Iron Banner is considered in-game content. There's stuff in PvP that's considered in-game content that you don't necessarily have to complete a campaign to do. But you can do it as long as you're a max power level. Now, of course, to get max power level, you technically have to do stuff in the campaign. But you know what I'm saying. So there may be stages in here that, you know, you reach, you may beat the story and say the end boss is level 75 and, you know, that area that's blocked off is, say, the enemies on there from level 80 to 100 or something. You see what I'm saying? That otherwise you couldn't access that from the beginning of the game. And so you're on a grind to level up your character to be able to complete those missions and get those items and things like that. Another route they could possibly go is a new game plus mode where you get to start the game over and basically play through the story again, but play with any character that you want. You know, because starting out on the story, you can only control like fighting against Raditz. You can only pick Goku as a playable character. because Goku is the one that initiates the fight. You see what I'm saying? Now, there are other instances where you could pick different characters, but guys, it's going to be locked to who you can pick in the stories. Now, when you're in free roam and doing subquests, it's a little bit different. You can basically free roam with anybody, from my understanding. But as far as going into the actual red story missions, the red icon story missions, you have to do that with a certain character. But end game is something that's very interesting, and it's something that we don't know about. There's still tons of stuff we haven't heard about this game. We haven't heard about the Dragon Balls. They haven't went in depth about training. And then to address some of the trailers that we've seen, they're cutting stuff out of these trailers. They're not showing us everything that's in these trailers. So, and that's relevant with the Super Saiyan 3 trailer that just came out. And then even like with the Cell versus Gohan and stuff like that, when they release these things, they are not showing us everything. They're not showing you a complete cutscene from start to finish. They are editing those things out. And so when you play the game, because I was sitting here thinking like, man, they're kind of showing a lot of the game. There's not much left to be seen. Like, you pretty much know what, the whole game almost. But it's like, no, that doesn't make sense. Why would they do that? They have to leave some surprises. Otherwise, when people get this game, it's going to be nothing to it as far as surprise effect and stuff like that. So I was like, no, there's got to be way more to it. And there is, guys. They're cutting out these cutscenes. There's things that you're not seeing. I haven't seen a quick time event aside from the beam struggle. And of course, when you fight and you knock them away, they have sometimes, or in the Naruto series and Asura's Wrath, whenever you're fighting bosses and stuff, that they have these quick time events within the cutscenes themselves. And if they didn't do it here, that would be like a first. But it makes those cutscenes more interactive and things like that. So I don't know how they're gonna do that, but I mean, it is what it is, guys. Just let me know what y'all think down in the comment section down below. What do you think Endgame should be? And be realistic about it. Because like I said, movie characters aren't in it. So don't come with movie characters and stuff like that. You do have the world tournaments. That could be a thing as well. So let me know what y'all think down in the comment section down below. Till next time, thanks for watching. Peace.